Hello again, this is a mini review of the Makarov CO2 pistol as made by Baikal in Russia. In fact, what this is a remachined, genuine Baikal. They have just converted a real weapon into a CO2 pistol. Right, first things first, safety checks, see if it's clear. First of all, there you are, it's open, it's locked back. The magazine comes out of the bottom. I've got a lanyard on here to enable me to move the magazine catch easily, because it is actually rather difficult. Come on to that in a minute. There's the magazine, which is also the gas holder as well. It holds the pellets and it holds the gas. Right, I can take this off like that, and it's empty. Okay, we're all satisfied, it's safe. Right, start at the beginning. This copy of the Makarov pistol is re-engineered out of a real one. If I take off the magazine, take off the slide rather, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I won't be able to take it off until I pull that down and park it to one side, which is the correct way of doing it. This, as I say, this is actually a re-engineered real gun, and it functions in pretty much the same way. So push back, lift up and take off. There's the recoil spring. I've slightly modified mine. This is my own personal gun. As it comes, this recoil spring is the same recoil spring as on the real firearm. So as you can expect, it's pretty stiff. I've already removed about 3 or 4 links from it, to make it more manageable, because it's so difficult to push back on. It's a blowback design, don't forget, this gun, in the real thing, so that spring needs to be pretty strong to overcome all the pressure and to bring the slide back into battery, etc, etc. When you look at the workings of it, this is all the trigger mechanism over here. The magazine, if fitted, would come up the middle, as you can see, like that. Look, that's where the magazine goes. Comes right up, the pellet will be facing out of this hole here. Come right up, and there's an O-ring, a rubber O-ring seal, neoprene O-ring, right here at the back, and it comes up against that. So in fact the gas seal, even though it's an interchangeable magazine, is pretty good, which translates from your point of view into more shots per capsule and more accuracy in the end of the day, because the magazine indexes up quite nicely with the end of the barrel. So the barrel is actually machined out of the solid steel. It's a real barrel, you can see it there, and it's beautifully rifled as well. It's a very, very high quality barrel. I'm just going to try and get that close enough so you can see down the rifling. You might be able to see there. Can you see? Nice rifling. Now of course, if you're firing BBs down this gun, and they do say that's what it's designed to fire, what point is there in having any rifling, because a steel BB can't actually engage with the rifling. In fact, a steel BB, if you were to take one and drop it in the barrel, it just passes straight through. Did you see that? It went straight through and I lost it. There's another one, straight through. So there's very little point in having rifling on a gun that's going to fire steel BBs, sorry. But what you do want to do is do this. Use these. They're the only company that make the things. Gamo, the Spanish company, they make lead balls in 177 caliber. And that is what you put in this gun. And it transforms it from being what you might think another ho-hum BB gun into something quite spectacular. Now, loading the magazine, we may as well cover that. There's a magazine spring follower in here, and you pull it to the back and you click it to one side, and that holds the magazine follower back. Then you place your BBs, your lead balls, and they're not BBs, they're lead balls, in the magazine like this, one at a time. Or, if you want to do it the quick way, you can actually buy a Baikal, a genuine Baikal speed loader. This is one that's been used a bit, so it looks a bit messed up. The tape on the bottom is there, not because it's broken, but just because the catches that hold the bottom on are so feeble, they were going to break or come apart and let all the BBs go all over the floor, so I wasn't going to have that. The top of it engages with the magazine like that, and then just flip it and shake it, and before too long it will fill up the magazine. Sometimes it works quicker than others. It depends on what it wants to do. Once you've got it filled up like that, just click off the magazine follower, and there you have it. You've got a full magazine of lead balls, not BBs. Must stop calling them BBs, because they're not. So the speed loader, if you're going to shoot this a lot, is a very, very useful thing to have. You can buy it from the same companies that you can buy the gun from. I don't know who the importer is for this. You see this on the internet. Various UK-based companies have it from time to time. You can buy accessory magazines for it as well. I, for instance, have got 2 magazines. The magazines, because they incorporate the gas mechanism as well, they're actually quite expensive. It's your call. If you're going to use this a lot, then you might want to have a spare magazine. The seals can fail after a while, as they can with any CO2 gun. If you haven't got any spare seals, or you want to send off for them, you can obtain the spare seals. They're quite easy to come by. If you've got a spare magazine, you can just carry on shooting while you're waiting for your seals to arrive. Or in my case, I've actually got a supply of seals for this. They come in a little kit containing one of every seal that you need. And they're not expensive. The seals are not expensive, so that's good. You can keep the thing running. That's what it basically means. To gas it up, the procedure is standard. You would put a drop of silicone oil on the top of the CO2 capsule before you actually put it in the gun. Place it in the holder, screw up the screw here, and then to actually activate it, screw it right through until you hear the hiss, and then keep going another half turn or something like that. I won't do it right now. I'm going to do it in a minute. But anyway, that's how you gas the thing up. Very straightforward, very simple. There's no plastic on this gun apart from the grips, and that is so hard it may as well be metal. So everything is very, very strongly constructed. It's not alloy, it's steel. So this is probably going to last you a very long time. The only weak part of it, as it is with any CO2 gun, are the seals, but they do actually make it easy for you to take the thing to pieces. You see that there's those slots there that enables you to unscrew the back of the valve, remove all the mechanism very carefully. Obviously, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Give it to a gunsmith to do it for you. But basically, you can remove all the mechanism from inside this gas valve arrangement, replace the seals and put it all back again, and it should be as good as new.